I'll call to order the February 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Indianapolis Public Library. Can we have a call of the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Biederman,
Present.
Dr. Matata,
Present.
Dr. Palacio,
Present.
and Dr. Riolo.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
All right, and we've got one more person.
Yes,
in.
and Miss Woodard.
All right, perfect. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the monthly meeting of the Indianapolis Public Library Board of Trustees. My name is Ray Biederman, and I'm president of the board. Tonight, we are in a special setup from our traditional library bench venue. We're assembled at the Mary Rigg Neighborhood Center across the street from our West Indianapolis branch. Because of the limited space in the community room at our West Indy branch, we're grateful to our good neighbor and longtime partner, Mary Rigg, to accommodate our board meeting tonight. Thank you for your hospitality this evening. As we begin our February meeting, I also recognize that February is Black History Month. At the Indianapolis Public Library, we honor the history, achievements, and enduring contributions of Black Americans. A wonderful example is our annual Meet the Artist exhibit organized by our library's African American History Committee. For the 38th year, Central Library has provided a venue for Black artists to share their work that is free and open to all. Please consider visiting this inspiring exhibit at Central Library if you haven't already, as it will continue through the end of March. Now, some news. Our West Indy branch is among hundreds of Carnegie libraries honored last week with a special commemorative gift from the Carnegie Corporation of New York. To mark the nation's 250th anniversary this year, the Carnegie Corporation gave special financial gifts to Carnegie or Carnegie-designated descended libraries. The Indianapolis Public Library is honored to have three proud and thankful recipients: in the Spades Park branch, East Washington Street branch, and our host branch tonight, West Indianapolis. West Indianapolis is a perfect place to mark the legacy of literacy, as this branch provides the return on that original Carnegie investment. The West Indianapolis branch first opened in 1897. About a decade later, Andrew Carnegie awarded Indianapolis major financial resources to build new libraries. In 1912, West Indianapolis moved to its new Carnegie-funded space on West Morris Street, becoming a neighborhood cornerstone of free access to books. After a period of growth, the branch relocated to its current home on 1216 Capus Street in 1986, building the Carnegie mission as the physical space grew. While East Washington and Spades Park branches still operate in their original Carnegie buildings, West Indy represents the same mission of public service for more than a century. Hosting this board meeting tonight here in Mary Rigg's Community Center underscores that the Carnegie legacy isn't just about historical architecture. It's about strengthened literacy and civic life for generations. Thank you to the Carnegie Corporation in New York for supporting this next chapter. Now let's learn even more about this incredible branch and its service today. I'd like to invite Ms. Megan Shepard to step forward and share the branch report. Ms. Shepard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. President Biederman, members of the library board, I'm so happy to have you here tonight. And thank you to our host, Mary Rigg, for graciously letting us borrow their space tonight. My name is Megan Shepard. I'm the branch manager for the West Indianapolis branch across the street, and I'm so happy to have you all here. Tell you a little bit more about the branch. So you've already covered the history, so I won't run through any of that, but I will let you know a little bit more context. So this area was once an industrial powerhouse. So this neighborhood was known for the stockyards and the GM stamping plant that provided a lot of jobs here. That plant sadly closed down about a decade ago, and the stockyards all closed in the 70s. So we've seen a change in the population and the demographics here. All right, if you want to go to the next slide, please. All right, so who we are. So we're a very small staff. So myself, I'm the adult librarian and the branch manager, and then we also have a children's librarian that started last summer with us. We also have one circulation supervisor, 1 library assistant 2, 1 part-time juvenile public services associate, a part-time computer lab assistant, and then we have 1 library security assistant. So we're a very small team, but I like to say we're small but mighty. There's only 7 of us in the building, but we keep that thing running, and everyone does an amazing job. We recently got SEQOA Dementia Friendly certified because half of our staff have completed that training. So that's another thing that we got going. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide, please. All right, so to talk about who we serve, there's a lot of statistics on the screen, and numbers can tell you so much, but I want to talk a little bit more about what these numbers mean for this community. So all of my data was pulled from the Savvy 2023 census. So I'm going to go over this first, the languages spoken. So 18.5% of the households in this neighborhood primarily speak Spanish. And a way that we serve that community is 3 of our staff members actually speak Spanish to a fluent enough level where they can have one-on-one interactions with patrons that come into the branch. We see a lot of people that come in to print documents, make copies of things, copies of passports, documentation. So we have staff members that help them with that. We're also seeing, due to recent current events, that a lot of these patrons aren't visiting us as often as they used to. In order to combat that, we're actually working with WIDC, a development corporation, to put on an international festival in the fall to sort of invite that community back in and remind them that the library is a safe space for everyone. The next point I want to talk about, our poverty rate. So as I mentioned at the start of my presentation, this was once an industrial powerhouse, and when the GM stamping plant shut down, 600 people lost their jobs. And a lot of those people lived in this neighborhood, and suddenly they were without work. So we see that a lot of people in this neighborhood are fighting against living in poverty. They live in a food desert, and the unemployment rate is higher here than in other Marion County, This goes, so 19.4% of adults are housing insecure. We've got a 7.1% eviction rate and a 20% housing vacancy rate. So how does that impact what we do? So what we do at the West Indy branch, we do a lot of community outreach. So we try our best to meet these people where they are and see how we can best serve them. And maybe it's not what everyone thinks the library would do, but we do a lot of social services. So what this means is we put together hygiene kits. So they're small little bags that have deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, maybe some floss, soap, shampoo, basic necessities that we hand out to patrons. We also do, in the winter, we do warming kits. So we'll put together a hat, gloves, socks, and some hand warmers and some information about fighting frostbite and hand that out to patrons. We have to thank our community partner, Eli Lilly. They give us a lot of in-kind donations, and they actually donate a lot of the hats and the gloves that we use to hand out to people. So yeah, we've get a lot of patrons that comment that we're sort of a ministry and that we're a lifeline for this community. So we serve in a non-traditional way. All right. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So some more stats. I want to just focus on one of our biggest services that we provide as well, computer usage. So a lot of people that we see every day, they come in and they want to use our computers. They want to get on the Wi-Fi. 10% of residents in this neighborhood are without computer or internet. And that's compared to 7.9% in Marion County. So definitely a lot more people without that internet connectivity. So people come in, they want to use the computer, they want to print things. If they want to watch movies, they don't have access to streaming. So a lot of our circulation comes from people coming in to get DVDs as well. And then the picture that I have on the screen there, so I did mention this is a food desert. There's only about maybe 5 restaurants in the area, and there are no grocery stores within a walking distance. If you wanted to go to the grocery store, you would have to either go downtown, so take a bus downtown, or you would need to drive to one of the other, there's a Kroger on Kentucky, it's 10 minutes away. So a lot of people rely on Dollar General, Dollar Tree, those places don't necessarily have fresh produce. So one way that the library is combating that is we're able to offer the seed library program. So our patrons can come in, get some seeds, take them home, start a garden, and have fresh produce, which is something they wouldn't otherwise have access to. And then in 2025, we had 396 programs offered. We had 4,250 people in attendance. So what that means for us, we've got a ton of adult programming. So we do weekly chair yoga, weekly crafternoon, which is an arts and crafts program. We do a monthly book discussion. To talk a little bit more about the crafternoon, it's a small group of patrons that come in, and you're invited to bring whatever creative project you're working on. I usually bring my crochet to work on. Some people will bring painting. And it's just a tight-knit group where we can sit together and just work on something creative. We also have the book club. It's another really tight-knit group. We recently had a patron that was a regular at the book club move away, and she is blind, and so she's unable to get here easily, and we had another patron offer to drive her to the program so she could continue coming. So I think that's a testament to how close everyone is at these programs. We also do, for our teens, so we have a monthly Teen Zone program, which is actually happening right now across the street. So they have a Wii that they can play on. They're offered some snacks, and they can just work on some coloring or just do whatever they'd like to do. We're also working on starting a teen Dungeons and Dragons group in the spring. We've heard from the IPS schools in the neighborhood that's a really hot topic right now, so we're going to get that going. And then for our children's programs, we have actually 2 weekly groups come from Mary Rig. So their after-school group comes over twice a week. We've got an older group and a younger group. Both come over to work on STEAM programs. So the older group prefers working on the art part of the STEAM, so they like to do more of the arts and crafts. And the younger group likes doing engineering. So our children's librarian lays out stuff for them to work on. They've made buildings out of marshmallows and spaghetti. They've made cars. They've made so many things. We also do weekly story times here at Head Start. That's a facility connected to Mary Rig. And we also do take-home craft kits. And this past Saturday, we actually offered our very first family game club. So we actually had a good little group that came out and played some board games together. It was really sweet. And then finally for our outreach, so I talked about the hygiene and the warmth kits. We also operate a Little Free Laundry Library. So if you've ever heard of a Little Free Library, down the street at Morrison Belmont, there's a laundromat, and yep, there you go. We have those shelves, and we restock that on a monthly basis. And that's been a really fun thing to see develop throughout the years. People will actually leave food at the Little Free Library. And I think that just shows, this community they're looking out for each other. And so community partners, we also work with a lot of these people. There's a yearly event called Winterfest, and it's every holiday season. And we offer it at Daniel Webster, the IPS school in Reisner. And a ton of community partners work on that. Lilly, West End Development Corporation, the church helps us with that, and Mary Rig, of course. And we put on this event for families to come. They get a free meal, usually a hot meal. They get free hats and gloves for the kids to take home. There's usually books. We also have pictures with Santa, because if you don't live right next to a mall and you don't have the money, you're not going to have that experience. So it's a great way to get community together, and we also offer resource tables at that event as well. This past year, we had 452 attendees, so it's a very popular event. So yes, all of these community partners, I'm not going to read through all of them. We work with all of them almost on a daily basis. We're very blessed in this neighborhood to have such tight-knit partners, and everyone is so amenable to helping each other out. We worked a lot this past year with the West Morris Free Methodist Church. The city actually opened an emergency warming shelter down the street from us at that church. So we've worked with them a lot in getting some patron donated food down there and just letting our patrons know that that's an option. If you want to go to the next slide. Okay, so I've just got some fun pictures for you. On the far left, that's our summer reading display from last year. Our children's PSA is super creative and she does amazing displays, and she turned our glass display case into a cave to go with the history theme. That center picture is one of our Mary Rig after school groups. They're posing with their building that they engineered. And then on the far right, that's a picture from last May. We had an adult book discussion, and we actually had the opportunity to chat with the author of the book that we read. So we read a book called Blind Ambition, and one of my patrons is friends with the author, so we got her on Zoom, and we got to ask her some questions about the book. So that was a really neat experience. And that's all I got for you. Yeah.
All right, so what questions or comments from the board?
I'm just really impressed with how you've branched out to create a community. I don't think people go into librarianship thinking they're being social services, but you've combined that really well. So thank you for that.
Definitely. Thank you.
I also want to commend you with the little free library that's at the laundromat. Are those books that they just swap so they don't have to check those
Right.
out?
Yep. So those are books that they're not actual library books. They're either donations that we use, and yep, they can just grab them and they don't have to return them.
Great.
Yep.
Just commend you for the partnership with Mary Riggs as well. I've been to Mary Riggs many times, and the partnership between the library and Mary Riggs is it's just one of the best. And the kinds of things that you're doing together in collaboration make all the difference.
Definitely.
Just one quick question about it. When you think of the kinds of things that you're doing together, what are you imagining as a possibility for the future, the two of you?
You did such a nice job. By the way.
Thank you. I'm definitely, Heather, I don't know what you've been thinking, but I've had on my mind, Mary Rig recently opened up their food pantry. Has it already been a month, a couple weeks now? So now we have that in our community. I've been thinking about how can the library better support that, and I've considered opening another little free library for people as they go. I don't know if you guys have heard about the new Mary Rig food pantry, but it's grocery style, so they're able to pick what they want and get that autonomy back in their lives. So I think it would be great to collaborate and get the library in that space a little more.
I think that's a great idea. And as Megan mentioned, the opportunity for our kids to have such easy access is huge. I'm sure overlaid with everything Megan said, we have a major transportation issue in this neighborhood too. So for families to have easy access when their kids are either here for aftercare or summer camp makes a huge difference to getting our kids in the library. So really appreciate that continued opportunity as well.
I just want to say thank you for everything you and your staff of 7 do. This is amazing. This is, looking at the stats, you're going way above and beyond what I think a library, I'm not going to say should do, but in the eyes of many people, you think you go to the library, it seems like you're going out and, like it's been said, forming that community, investing in the community, making sure the community is having a bit more of a lifestyle than they would otherwise. So I appreciate everything you're doing. Stats are alarming, but you're doing, I think, a great job trying to do what you can with what you have here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have thought you had a staff of 25. Let's see how you get done here.
They're all hard workers.
All right, any more comments from the board? All right, hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, tonight we have an additional area report regarding volunteers and interns. So while Miss Wendy Johnson is stepping forward, I want to mention that our organization is powered not just by our dedicated paid employees, but also by dedicated unpaid volunteer workers, representing about 45% of our workforce. So, Ms. Johnson, we look forward to hearing your report.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for inviting me back. I know it's been several years since I've seen you, and some of you are new to the board. So I have some really great things to share, and we can add those to the list of Megan wonderful things that the library is doing as well. So I appreciate your time. My name is Wendy Johnson. I am the Volunteer Resource Supervisor and Internship Program Coordinator. I gave myself that title because there wasn't a program before me that was formalized. I have been an MPA for a while from the IU, and I also carry the certification of Certified Volunteer Administrator, which is an international credential that I maintain on a regular basis. I also am extremely pleased to be able to present to not only you, but also on the national platform all about volunteerism and brag a lot about what our library is doing and how we are moving forward with our librarian internship program, how we're integrating volunteers across the board. So I'm very proud to be a part of this organization. Next slide, please. When we talk about volunteers and interns, we always talk about numbers first. It is a professional hazard that we have put upon ourselves as a volunteer leader. We always want to talk about how many volunteers did you have and how many hours did you have. And so you're going to get to see those first, and then we're going to talk about why those are important to us. We have far exceeded our pre-COVID numbers. We have rebounded extremely well. We are looking at our volunteer engagement in a different way, and that has really given us the opportunity to strive beyond that. The 1,000 volunteers that we saw, individual folks, over 2025, did approximately 27.4 hours, all in all. We convert them as well. This is one of those crazy things we do when we talk about numbers, is we convert that to a dollar figure. We use independent sector to use that value, and for Indiana, that value is $31.05 an hour. So when you convert that over, that's a little over $750,000. In HR speak, I look at this in a totally different way, and I say, oh, well, that's a little over 13 FTUs, or full-time equivalent staff members. And that's all the numbers you're going to get in the big scope of things. Next slide, please. We always have a curiosity about where are our volunteers coming from, because I'll tell you a secret, I don't do a lot of recruitment. Volunteers come out of the woodwork when they hear we need help. And they are coming out of the woodwork individually and as corporate entities. They want to be part of our organization. So we went and put this crazy map together. Thank you, Maggie Ward, for doing this crazy map. Because I honestly thought that most of the individuals were coming from the outer edges of Marion County. And as you can see, I was sadly mistaken, or happily mistaken. There are two desert areas on this map. One is in the airport in the lower left-hand corner. That's airport industrial. And we also kind of identified the area on the eastern side, sort of midway down the map, which tends to be more of an urban or rural landscape. So we don't see a lot of homes in those spaces. So I'm not feeling too bad about this map. We have a lot of, next slide, please. We have a lot of community partners as well. Last year, we engaged with 28 different partners. When I started in this role over 10 years ago, my goal was to have 12 a year, one for every month. I thought that was a big goal. And now I'm turning people away because we don't have the projects for them. So 28 was great. This year, I'm hoping to do 35. We'll see if I can negotiate that with our staff. As you can see, we have a large list of those partners who come and help support. Those partners come to us because they are a part of a corporate social responsibility strategy within their organization. And we embrace them with all one-time hit projects, 4 hours, 3 hours. They might refresh a library. They might be coming to help us with seed packaging. They might be coming to help us with an event or an activity. So we are thrilled to have these organizations with us. Many of these organizations also have what's called a Dollars for Doers program. What a catchy little name, right? The dollars for doers, it gives us the opportunity to say, if you volunteer X number of hours, your organization will donate X number of dollars. And most of those folks who volunteer with us like to give us the money as opposed to maybe somewhere else. So these corporate relationships are important to us. We have had checks just show up as a result of the engagement of these organizations. And that is an exciting way for our foundation to engage even deeper relationships with these folks. Next slide, please. We have some pretty standard activities that our volunteers do. As individual volunteers, they work on collection support. That's the number one thing. That is everything that has to do with those books on those shelves. It has to do with our collection support, whether it's pulling material or if it's weeding or if it's looking at the drop box and processing holds. It is all of those things. It is the number one thing that can support our staff. Secondarily to that is our program support. Program support really grew after COVID. I won't say it was COVID that did it. I will tell you it is because of our youth protection policy. When we implemented our youth protection policy of having 2 unrelated adults in every single youth program, it was a major stress on our staff. Imagine Megan's world of 7 and having a youth program, and now she has 2 people who have to sit in a room because we're doing a story time, which is great for our community. It was a big stretch. So volunteers have stepped up and been that second person in the room. And that has been an amazing feat for us. And partly why our numbers are growing, because now I can say to people, you may not get to read to the kids, but you can still sing and dance with them. And they love that. They think that is an engaging opportunity for them and a small commitment of time once every week, once every other week to do. Next slide, please. In 2025, the World Health Organization released a report that said everywhere from 40 to 50% of U.S. adults say that they feel isolated. The U.S. Surgeon General 3 years ago released a report on the loneliness epidemic. We are, as an organization, bringing volunteers into our community, resolving a lot of those concerns. The Indy Library Store is probably the best example of that within our volunteer arena. They have 25% of our overall numbers. They come every single week. Those 70 volunteers know each other. They give rides to each other. They send each other cards when some crazy medical thing has happened. They miss each other when they've gone on summer break or gone south for the winter. This organization has done such an amazing job of building that community with that particular group of volunteers. They are the heartbeat of the bookstore. The bookstore only has 1.5 staff members. Without them, we would not be able to raise those funds that support the foundation. Next slide, please. We've introduced a new Pause To, so that's why this title is Pause To What? We're reading, we're breathing, we're hanging out with dogs. We have 2 partnerships with the Pause and Think and also with Therapy Dogs International in 2025. 2026 is adding a 3rd partnership, and that is the Canine Companion Program. The Pause to Read program enables young kids, young readers to read to a dog that is non-judgmental. And that is a great way to build some confidence. The Pause to Breathe program enables us to provide support to those that are in stress, anxiety, trauma. When we can bring a team in at the end of the school year during finals and provide that team to the teens that are coming into the library branch. When we can provide a team to our own staff when trauma has happened to our staff, that is Pause to Breathe. And those 2 programs together, the pug and the lady holding the pug, that's Maggie Ward. She's my supervisor. She's amazing. She coordinates all of those fun things. Next slide, please. You heard about food deserts from Megan. Volunteers are actively packaging seeds. In order for us to save money, we are buying seeds in bulk and breaking them down into small packets of 10 to 12 seeds, depending on what the item of produce is. 81% of the seeds that were distributed last year were packaged by volunteers. I expect that number to go up. I also expect that we'll be seeing more seeds on the shelves. We grew this program as a library system from one individual branch, and now we're seeing all of our branches participate, and it's taking an entire village to package those seeds and to get those seeds out into the hands of our community so that they can be prepared with fresh produce and pollinators and herbs and all of the fun things that come along with being able to grow something in your own hands. So thank you to our seed library folks. They're great, and I'm glad to see you've great seed library picture. Thank you for illustrating that. Library Express is our homebound delivery program. It's run within my team. The homebound delivery is a way for us to reach those patrons that don't have access to a library. They can't get to a library for whatever reason. We don't even really ask. If they say they can't get to the library and they want materials, we will figure out a way to get them materials. The first front line of that is for us to say, let's match you with a volunteer. Let's have that volunteer deliver materials, which is that clever bag right there with a zipper on the top. We want to get those materials to those patrons as frequently as they need them. We also see that we have some patrons that are heavy hitter patrons. They're VIPs for us. They're the folks that you think, oh my gosh, how do they have 126 books on hold at all times? And those folks are serviced through our outreach department and through one volunteer who delivers to them every Tuesday. He comes, he picks up a bunch of bags and delivers off to a corner of the city. Those patrons will no longer want volunteers because he's so amazing that they don't want to give him up. So we've done a lot of work in that arena as well to grow this program. We have capacity for more patrons. We would love to put this at 100 patrons. So if you know of a person who is in Marion County that is looking for library services to be delivered to them, please reach out to me and we will get them the services that they need. Next slide, please. So this is my baby. This is the intern program. Oh, with an ER. Wonder where that came from. The intern program started 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. We had an internship program within the library, but it was sort of hit or miss. We were having interns come to us and they say, I want to do library science, or I want to do something that we offer as a career path. And we were not really providing the best service to them. So I raised my hand and said, I know how to make this better, and built an internship program that has the boundaries, the screening, the services, the academic requirements are being followed, the relationships with schools are being built, so that we are providing the best quality experience to any academic student who comes to us for an internship. We grew that internship last year, doubled it, which makes me very excited, both in the high school arena as well as in the college and university arena as well. We have interns that are in for library science, which is what you would guess. We have, as you've met, Danielle Gerton with social work. We are now hosting 3 social work interns, and that may bump to 5. I've asked her what her total is, and she thinks 5 is her max. I'm all about it. Bring them on. It's all good. We've also had interns in our communications department. And you've heard from Adam about facilities. He's had 2 interns over the last 2 summers doing great work in determining whether we are following our environmental guidelines as LEED certified spaces, tracking whether our solar panels are doing what they're supposed to do, all kinds of nerdy engineering stuff. So I'm very excited that our internship program has come off the ground, that we are solid, and that we are beginning to get a lot of referrals from the schools that are out in our communities who are hearing about us and now learn that we can do a great job of servicing those students as well. Fun fact, 12 of our volunteers and interns were hired last year alone, making Tisha very happy because she's always said, it's a pipeline. Make a pipeline. So yes, we're building a pipeline, not only in our volunteer arena, but also in our internship arena. Next slide, please. Huge thank you to everyone that's making this possible. Our volunteers, of course, I have to say thank you to them, and I say thank you to them every time I see them. Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for volunteering all around. I want to make sure that you are aware that volunteer coordinators are placed at every single branch. A volunteer coordinator wears multiple hats, but they are the front face that serves those volunteers as they come to the branch. They help make sure that the screening is there and that those volunteers are welcomed and have meaningful work to do. We never make busy work. I want to also make sure that you recognize that the branch managers and department managers are also a big part of whether this program can be successful. When I started 10 years ago, we did not have volunteers in every single branch. A lot of our branch managers said, scared, no, And now I'm proud to say that every single one of our branches has engaged in volunteers in some way or another. They are amazing people to work with. Our executive leadership team who supports all of us in the work that we do. And of course, I have to say thank you to you because after all, you're volunteers too. So thank you for your time and your energy to make this organization the great and marvelous place that it is, that volunteers and interns want to be a part of. That's all I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions from the board? No? All right, well, yeah, you're first this time.
I was just wondering if the internship program contains educational component like mentoring or cohort type meetings.
Yes. So the question is there an educational component? And the answer is yes. That educational component comes in the form of the match that I've made to them to their supervisor. And that is a staff member who has basically signed my agreement that says this is what you will do with an intern. You won't just throw them out there, that you will provide the education that they have required. We've also been working really closely with the advisors of each of those students to customize their internship experience. Some of our interns want to do archival work, which we don't really do a lot. That's not our jam. We don't really do a lot of that. But when they come to a public library, it's important for them to understand what is a public library. So when they do go to archival work, they can say, I know what public library is about, and I can refer people that direction. So we're always very close with our advisors. We check base twice a semester. We're working really hard to make sure that we satisfy those academic requirements.
Thank you.
I want to first of all say the report that you just provided is riddled with impact. And I've heard a lot of branch reports. All of them have been amazing. This one by far has blown me away because you are meeting the community exactly where they need to be met. So I want to offer you that just acknowledgement, just to say amazing job. Thank you for the data. The data has been amazing to be able to take volunteer hours and convert that so that individuals can see that without volunteers, without the community, a lot of the things that you offer would not be able to happen. That's very powerful. And so I'm going to lean in a little further. You talk about the SEED program.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. Do you have a return on investment? Do you know how many individuals are using that? How it's do you have any data around that? And if you don't, it's okay because it's still
I do not,
Okay.
because Erica Irish and Jill Edwards in the program department manage the seed library. I jokingly refer to myself as eHarmony for volunteers. I know where the things are that we need, and I know the projects we're working on. I know the volunteers want to help, and my job is to do that match. So Erica Irish would be the person who will give you all of that data, and she is meticulous. So she will happily give you that return on investment.
No, sounds good. I just want to acknowledge it.
Thank you.
Just to see, I mean, I don't know if other branches have a need like that, but if you have that type of data in the future to share out, I think that's great. One other question, do you know if training is provided? So if a patron comes in, I love the idea that we're pushing, kind of, sustainment. Do you offer training with the seed program that helps patrons to understand how to plant? I have plants and they're all dying, so.
Oh, so you and I are in the same boat. So the answer is yes. Megan alluded to it as well. We, as an organization, through the program department, have created an entire series of educational programs for adults and teens primarily, and then there's some kid things sprinkled in there, all the way from I live in an apartment on the second floor and I want to grow my own tomato plant. How do I do that? To what if I get those creepy bugs in my tomatoes? All of our programming is geared from beginning to end, and it's staged throughout the life of a garden. So today's the day I should be planting things. That's when the program is offered to me. It's exciting also to be able to say to you that we are working with master gardeners from around Marion County and the surrounding counties, because master gardeners have to have volunteer hours. So they come and they help us with our programming. They help us manage and maintain our seed libraries. So yeah, there is definitely an educational component to all of that.
The seed library has grown a lot over the years. It was just vegetables, and then we added herbs, and now we're into these gorgeous flowers and all kinds of things. And Erica and Jill decide what seeds to get, but then once they're packaged, each branch manager requests, for my branch, we want this many of this kind of seeds. So it's actually individualized to the community's needs as well. So it's a really great program. But yes, volunteerism is very rewarding, but volunteering in every organization is not the same. Some organizations are not quite as organized or as fulfilling as what you've made these programs. So there are
Thank
others I have quit early. This one I'm in 18 years. So
Yes.
thanks.
Lisa was a docent when we opened the building at Central. That gives you a clue. Any other questions for me?
Just a quick one. You had mentioned so many things with support. You said collection support, program support, public commuter and administrations. What is the public commuter support?
Public computer support. Did I miss a T? Sorry about that. Yes. Public computer support. Imagine that you are a staff member and you have this bank of 20 computers, and this person needs to print and this person needs to upload photos, and that person doesn't know how to use a mouse. That volunteer is there to do as much of that as they possibly can to help support those patrons as they come in and use a computer, connect to the internet, all of those pieces and parts. It was the T, sorry. Wait, where is that page? Yeah. Anything else I can do to answer questions for you?
And the Library Express is just phenomenal.
It is amazing. Tell your friends.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's even short term. So if they just, broke an ankle and they need rehab for 6 months, we'll be happy to bring them books for 6 months.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, thank you again, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right, now we will proceed to public comment. Ms. Gilbert, do we have any individuals requesting public comment today?
Do not have any.
All right, look at that. We just made up 5 minutes right there. All right, moving on to approval of minutes. There was a rescheduled regular meeting from January 30th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting rescheduled that was held on January 30th, 2026?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a call of the roll.
Dr. Matata,
Approved?
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo,
Approved.
Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved.
Thank you.
Motion's carried. Great. We just saved another 4 minutes. Look at us. Look at us go.
We're on a roll.
All right, moving on to the Finance Committee. Dr. White is the chair, but Dr. White is not here today. So do we have a chair for today?
I am here and taking a place for Dr. White. We don't have any resolutions that need to be taken care of, but we do have a presentation.
Excellent.
That'd be great. Thank you. Mary Rankins, please
Thank
take.
you.
This is the treasurer report for January. So the next slide, please. So our revenue, part of the slide's missing, but. Oh, there, thank you. What happened there? So we're at the beginning of the month, of the year, and so our actual will be the year to date. And it shows the budget here on the left side of what we expect to get throughout the year. Property taxes were not expected to be received in January. We won't receive those again until the summertime, and then again in the winter. Intergovernmental, the largest part of that was E-rate. We received approximately 84,000 of that month to date. And then other than that, it was the regularly monthly distribution from the county. And then charges for services, the largest was public printing at 23,000. The miscellaneous revenue, 127,000 of the 137 was interest revenue. With the highest rates being the Hoosier Fund at 3.8% and Trust Indiana at 3.6%. So we're moving right along. And then to show it in a graph on the next page, slide. The year to date compared to the prior year, intergovernmental is up. That's because of that E-rate, which is not regularly received. And fines and fees are higher than budget, and charges for services are a little under what we received last year. And the miscellaneous is a little under. So the next slide is expenditures. Our largest category is personal services and benefits, and we've spent approximately 10% of the budget at 4.2 million, approximately 4.3 million. And that's because there were 3 pay dates in January, as well as it's our beginning of the year contribution as an employer into the health savings accounts, which helps with employee budgeting of their health insurance co-pays, which have grown over the years. You know, it's been that way for several years now. Supplies are the smallest category, and we're 107,000, or 5% of the budget. Other services and charges, about 700,000. That's legal, security, cleaning services, technology. And capital outlay is our books, and it's pretty low at under 5,000 for January, which will ramp up more into February. We have to wait until budgets get loaded in January into the book system before we can pay all the invoices for books. And then the graph presentation of this is on the next slide, which shows on the left the bar chart comparing the month to date versus where we were last year and the budget. And our budget line is allocated divided by 12 instead of by pay period, so that's why it looks a little high there over the budget. And the line charts on the right year to date, which would be the same figures. And that's all. We have a couple updates. Just we're in the pre-audit compilation of our financial statements for 2025. And Lolita did an investment presentation to the Marion County Board of Finance that was successful. Are there any questions?
Any questions? All right. Is there a motion to accept the report of the treasurer for January 2026 for filings for audit?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a call the roll.
Dr. Matata,
Approved.
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo,
Approved.
Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved. The motion's carried. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Anything else from the finance committee?
No, there's nothing else we have to take care of today.
Excellent. All right. Let's move on to Diversity Policy and Human Resources Committee. Dr. Placer, you're the chair of that committee.
So Ms. Galarza will present one resolution that we have with, along with Roberta Jaggers, and I'll pass it to you.
Thank you so much. Good evening. I'm here to present Resolution 06-2026. It's the amendment of Policy 101.9 regarding the naming of organizational assets. I'm going to give you a high-level review of the policy. All the policy, it is in your packet, and we have extensive discussion on this policy throughout the last few months. So if you have any question, please let us know, but this is the high level. Otherwise, we will take a long time in here, okay? So the changes in the policy, this allows the CEO to name the spaces of staff in recognition of a major gift or exceptional contributions, ensures naming decisions align with the library mission, vision, and values, and establish a consistent process for approval, management, and removal of the name. All right, so there is two types of naming available. One is the gift related, which requires a financial gift, but with the foundation, with the library foundation. And the other one is the honorific naming. So it recognizes individuals who have made exemplary contributions to the library or society. Both of them have to be approved by the CEO and by the board. And then the assets that are eligible for naming is physical spaces. So we have community rooms, study rooms, children's areas, gardens, and others. And also we have staff positions named after people that have been recognized before, okay? The policy also addresses the removal of the name. So in extreme circumstances that we decide that a name should not be present on any space or a staff position, the CEO will recommend to a committee the evaluation of the removal, and after that decision, then the space will be removed, the naming, if approved. And this policy addresses every single detail on how to be removed or the naming of the spaces. Thank you.
Did this receive a
It
recommendation?
has received a favorable recommendation for due pass.
Excellent. Resolution 6-2026 regarding amending policy 101.9. It's like a radio station. Regarding naming of the organizational assets, received a positive recommendation from the Diversity Policy and Human Resources Committee, so the chair would request a second to such recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll have a call of the roll.
Dr. Matata,
Approved.
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo, Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved. The motion's carried. Thank you very much. All right, we'll work on the Ray Biederman CEO position. Perfect.
And that comes with the donation.
quick. That was quick. All right, let's move on to the Facilities Committee. Dr. Lisa Riolo, you are chair of that committee.
I am chair of that committee, and we've got 3 resolutions, and I asked Adam to come present those.
Good evening, everyone. Do we have to do the resolution or the public hearing first?
I have it first here, but
Yeah, the way we would do that is, recess the meeting for the public hearing and then present the resolution. Typically, we present the resolution. Typically, we present the resolution during the public hearing so that it's clear.
all right, I will now recess the regular meeting and convene a public hearing. This is for authorization to consider grant of fee simple right of way to Indianapolis Public Transportation Corporation. 2726 and 2810 East Washington Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, as advertised on February 13th, 2026 in the IBJ and the Indianapolis Recorder. Please.
Okay. So this is similar to the multiple resolutions that have occurred between us and Indigo prior. We've even had one previously at East Washington Branch. So this is regarding the blue line that is running down Washington Street, on which East Washington Street Branch is. If you see, there is the overall lot structure of the East Washington Branch property. On the west side with the shaded area is the 563 square feet that Indigo has requested. They would like to create a enhanced bus stop structure with a shelter that is more ADA accessible. This is a benefit to NDPL patrons with easier access to our facilities and services. There are no ongoing fiscal impacts regarding this property. It is undeveloped. It's grass and sidewalk and concrete. Would receive a compensation of $4,600 from Indigo, which we deem fair and equitable. Again, with community impact, promotes equity and is also saving public funds by agreeing to this rather than extending out the negotiating process. And that's my last slide.
All right, thank you very much. Now, at this point, I would invite a comment from the audience. Is anyone present that wishes to comment on this proposal? Okay, there are no comments. I would love to consider a motion to close the public hearing at this time and reconvene the regular meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll have a call of the roll.
Dr. Murtada,
Approved.
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo,
Approved.
Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved. The motion's carried. We're now, the public hearing is now closed. Now we're back in the regular meeting. Very exciting.
All right. So resolutions 7 and 8.
We need to vote on the resolution.
Oh,
You just voted to close the public.
We just, we're halfway there.
sorry.
Half done. All right. So now I would love to have a motion on the resolution 4-2026 regarding authorization to grant fee simple right of way to Indianapolis Public Transit Corporation at 2726 and 2810 East Washington Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. Did it receive a positive?
It did receive positive recommendation to full board.
Great. So it received a positive recommendation. So I would just need a second.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, now we'll have a call of the roll to approve resolution 4-2026.
Dr. Murtada,
Approved.
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo,
Approved.
Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved. The motion is carried. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next one.
Okay. There's a bit of a skip from resolution 4 to resolution 7. So resolution 7 and resolution 8 are sister resolutions for amending and extending lawn and landscaping services with our 2 service providers.
All right. So 7 and 8 we were potentially going to consider them together. Does everyone consent to considering those two resolutions together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Okay, great. Resolution 7 is with Davy Tree Company, and they, along with Providence, who's the vendor in Resolution 8, were awarded the initial 3-year contract in 2021. They have each subsequently been awarded two additional 1-year extensions. Both of these resolutions are requesting approval to extend for a third and final 1-year extension through April of 2027. Davy Tree has offered a 0% price increase from 2025, and they offered a 2% price increase for 2025. And they're what you can see is the difference between 2023 and 2024 is we actually had a third vendor. We ended the contract after that, we ended their services after that initial 3-year period and reassigned those via a quote process to Davy Tree. Their 24-25 expenses are more reflective given their increased portfolio, and we expect approximately $113,000 again for 2026. The vendor is based in Indianapolis. Davy Tree is a multi-state entity, but they do have a local headquarters here in Indianapolis, and they are not a city certified XBE. And then Resolution 8 is the same contract, a third and final 1-year extension with Providence Outdoor. Providence has offered a 3% increase in price, and last year, converse to Davy, they offered a 0%. So they're basically just flip-flopping their price increases every other year. Their annual cost is approximately $130,000 to $140,000, and we expect that to maintain given the modest 3% price increase. Excuse me, Providence Outdoor is based in Noblesville, Indiana, and they are not a city certified XBE. That's the last for those two.
These did receive favorable recommendation from the committee to the whole board to proceed.
Okay, so Resolution 7-2026 and 8-2026 regarding approval of the Third Amendment to Lawn and Landscape Services contract with the Davy Tree Expert Company and the Providence Outdoor Inc. respectively received a positive recommendation from the Facilities Committee, so the chair would request a second to such recommendation.
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a call to the roll.
Dr. Matata,
Approved.
Dr. Palacio,
Approved.
Dr. Riolo,
Approved.
Ms. Woodard,
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved. The motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all for facilities?
Unfortunately, that's all we have for you.
Okay.
You have
well,
to wait for next month.
We'll have to wait. I can't wait. Let's move on to Library Foundation update and report.
We actually have the president here this time. I've been promising that you were coming for months, and here you are.
I'm glad to be back. Also very happy to have with me Bethany Watson, our vice president. And so we're going to take care of a couple items. First of all, in your report, in your board book, you have our standard report. So some things we wanted to share with you that haven't already been mentioned in this meeting. First of all, we were just so thrilled to support Meet the Artist. And we were really pleased with how that event went. And we want to just congratulate everybody involved with that. And Circulate Night at the Library tickets are on sale. You can get early bird tickets through March 1st. So please join us by getting some tickets. We wanted to make you aware also of some of our bigger donors that have come through, our corporate and foundation donors, particularly. So they're listed there. And if you have any interactions with them, please thank them for supporting us. And then this month in February, we provided about $240,000 to the library, and some of the things that we're funding this month are the Bunny Bag program, the concert series, History on Stage, and STEAM kits. So we're excited about that. Before we move into the longer form report that you all have requested of us on a regular basis to give you a little bit more insight into the foundation. Do you have any questions about our basic report, our normal report? Okay. Beg your pardon?
Are you going to mention McFadden?
Oh, yes, I wasn't planning to, but the Marion McFadden Memorial Lecture is coming up on March 19th. Yeah. Okay. And it's R.L. Stein, and check the website for information on that. We're proud to fund that, and the library's programming department does such a great job of putting that on each year. Okay. So we do have a presentation, and this is born out of our meeting that we had last year when you all said, can you please come to us and give us just a longer form update so we can get a better sense of what's going on at the foundation, beneficial not just for us, but for viewers at home. So this is, we did have that broader audience in mind when we came up to this. But before I get into this, I just wanted to share with you that we recently had a donor contact us. And she said that she has begun watching library board meetings at home, and she watches every month, and seeing the board operate and seeing the executive staff, she says that makes me feel even more excited about supporting the library, that she really appreciates everyone's thoughtfulness and dedication to the mission. So I just wanted to let you know that I heard that nice anecdote, and she told me I could pass that along to you. So this is a really good opportunity for us to be here. And again, next, oh wait, this is us. We have the power. Okay. So again, for the, yeah, I had a She-Ra moment, but I'll let that go. But you know, again, for people who are at home, our mission is to elevate the Indianapolis Public Library by activating the community's generosity. We're a separate not-for-profit fundraising arm for the public library. And then I'm Roberta Jaggers, president of the foundation, and this is Bethany Watson, vice president of the foundation. And if we go to the next slide, the big story is we had a really phenomenal year last year with fundraising. We raised about $3.6 million. And as I mentioned earlier, that we did have some extraordinary gifts last year that may or may not repeat annually or ever. We're not exactly sure. We're going to steward those to all of our donors the best we can. But you can see that we got the lion's share of our giving came from foundations or donors who give through institutions like donor advised funds. We also received a lot from individuals, nearly $1 million from individual donors. And then our next biggest was corporate donors at $178,000, and then government and organizations. So we had, for example, the Lawrence Township Trustees office and a few others, and that was about $75,000 in contributions. So we're very appreciative of all the gifts we've received. If we go on to the next slide, this is showing us what we wanted to show you here were how we stacked up in 2025 compared to our 1-year goal and our 3-year strategic plan goal. So again, we had an extraordinary year. We shattered our 2025 goal, and we're on our way to meeting our 3-year goal. So that's very exciting. This slide shows us how many donors we have, and this is something that I'm super proud of, and is that we actually saw an increase in our number of donors. So in 2025, we had about almost 1,500 donors, and separate. Most of them are individuals. In 2024, we had 1,220 total donors. So we had about 200 more donors in 2025 than in the previous year. And the blue number is what our goal was in our strategic plan. We wanted to have about 1,250 donors per year. And same thing with new donors. Our goal was to have about 350 new donors a year in our strategic plan. In 2024, we had 331 new donors, and in last year, we ended up with 487. So we just saw a lot of growth at different segments of our donor base, which we're really excited about. Here's where the magic is. If there's magical numbers, this is it. And this is our donor retention rate, and this has always been very strong for us. So donor retention are people who give 1 year and then give again the following year. And so the overall, for all donors, the overall donor retention rate is about 46%. And we had a donor retention rate of 64% in 2025. So that means that 64% of the donors that gave in 24 gave again in 25. Our goal in our strategic plan was about 0.58% or 58%. So we knew we were already high, but we went even higher than what we were aiming for. Additionally, new donor retention rate tends to be a bit lower, but we were at 27% actual compared to our goal of 20% and industry benchmark of about 19%. So we are really excited about good donor retention rates. So that shows that we're really working, and that's one thing about our operation is that we actually spend probably more effort stewarding our donors once they make a gift than actually asking, and that's what these numbers reflect. So this reflects the hard work of a lot of people. And to give you all a little bit of more insight into what we do to raise this money, Bethany is going to share some of that with you.
So this next slide is called How We Did It, but I would be hard pressed to go into detail about every single thing that we did in 2025. We are a staff of 9. We are a small but mighty team. I think we accomplished a lot, but this was our attempt to kind of compartmentalize all of the high-level strategies and projects that we did in 2025. Some new, some continuing, some different efforts that we have on an ongoing basis, but overall, some of the things that we worked on in 2025 to meet our fundraising goals and to have a great donor stewardship, donor retention rate. So I'll go to the next slide. So portfolio management, we kind of just wanted to give you a lens into the development team and the work that we do. So portfolio management in fundraising is kind of the highest level of what a donor would go into. It is the most amount of attention that it would get from a development officer if they are put into a portfolio, and they're the most likely to make a annual or some sort of recurring major gift, which we consider to be $1,000 and above. So if they meet those criteria and we have a relationship developed, they are placed into somebody's portfolio. Roberta and myself have our own portfolios as well as 2 gift officers. And they can either be individuals, corporate, or foundations. We try to have a healthy mix, but different staff members have different specialties that they lean into. So we have a pretty good spread between the 4 of us in our portfolios. And as of 2025, we had 370 donors under portfolio management, which is a lot of donors to have and to steward in a very catered and special way. They receive a lot of attention from the development team. This is not all of the donors that we work with, but they definitely get the most attention out of all of the donors that we work with. So we'll go to the next slide. Couple different campaigns that we launched last year. We have our Friends of the Library, which is our annual fund campaign. It is a direct mail piece that goes out quarterly. We received in 2025 nearly 2,500 gifts, and we raised $221,000. We also sent out a little over 8,000 letters, direct mail letters that get sent out directly to people that make it to our Friends of the Library list. And we also have an e-send for people that are specifically signed up to receive emails from the Library Foundation. And last year, we achieved an average open rate of 52%. And just to put that into perspective, nonprofit industry standards as of last year were somewhere between 25 to 30% of an open rate. So we are very pleased with an open rate of over 50%. That shows that we have very loyal donors that look to receive communication from us. They are opening the emails that we send them, and they are engaging with the materials that they receive. Annually, we also host a staff campaign in the fall that is hosted by our development officer. We try to engage, we have a staff campaign committee that provides personal testimonies as to why they give, and we try to make it as easy as possible for staff that are interested in providing financial support to give through various different means. So as of last year, we raised $25,200, which huge kudos to all of the staff that participate. It's truly a testament to how much they support the Library Foundation and how committed they are to this mission. I think it really just demonstrates that commitment. And an interesting stat too is we had 95 donors that contributed to the staff campaign for 2025. Which was significantly up from 68 donors that gave in 2024. So we are very proud of the results that we got from our staff campaign. Thank you. A couple other campaigns just to share with you. Our board giving, we are proud to report that 100% of Library Foundation directors contributed financially. In 2025, they contributed or raised $117,000 and $500 through November. That doesn't include December totals. So that means that they either contributed themselves or they helped solicit through different connections and different meetings support for the Library Foundation.
Giving Tuesday, if you're not familiar, is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It has come into somewhat of a national holiday where a lot of nonprofits like to do some sort of special activation. And this is something new that we've started doing within the last couple of years. If you're familiar with the book tile process, so you are actually able to buy a commemorative book tile and put it in place at your branch, if that's interested. If it's a branch that you have special connections to, or if you want to memorialize somebody special in your life, that is something that you have the option to purchase, and then all of the proceeds go to the Library Foundation. We usually will host special sales throughout the year, usually in tandem with branch reopenings or celebrations. But something special that we started doing is offering a significant discount on Giving Tuesday as a one-day only sale, again, with all of the proceeds going back to the Library Foundation. And we build that as a special holiday if you wanted to get something special for, the family members or the friends in your lives. But we actually had a lot more people give to the Giving Tuesday book tile sale in 2025 compared to the first time that we hosted that in 2024. So we had 26 donors give $5,600 in 2025, up from 16 donors in 2024. And we did have several people say that they were specifically waiting until Giving Tuesday to purchase their book tile, which is exciting because it means that people are paying attention and that they are looking forward to a Giving Tuesday sale. So excited to report on that. And next slide. And Circulate Night at the Library is the Library Foundation's annual fundraising event. It is a 2026 event, just a quick plug, is quickly approaching on April 17th. But just as a sneak peek into what we did last year, we raised a little over $82,000 compared to our $75,000 goal. We had a total of 18 sponsorships, of which were 5 completely new sponsorships to Circulate. We had 290 total attendees, 234 tickets sold. So some of our tickets did go to our sponsorships. So that's kind of why the difference in numbers is there. And then we had a little over $20,000 raised from our silent auction. So overall, very pleased with the results. It's a great opportunity to celebrate the library, have a fun evening together, and raise funds to our mission. So kind of going into more extra activities that we had in addition to some of these campaigns. We're going to talk about our newsletters and then some partnership opportunities with the marketing and communications team. So we've kind of talked about this already, but our Friends of the Library mailing is one of our direct mail pieces that we send out, but we also have 2 other mail pieces that we send out annually. We have our Imagine newsletter, which goes out between 4 to 5 times a year, and then our Legacy newsletter, which goes out about 2 times a year. And the Imagine newsletter is to provide updates about the Library Foundation to our donors. Legacy is specifically geared toward people that meet the criteria for potential planned giving donors, so donors that are interested in putting the Library Foundation in their estate planning. So just some, again, high-level stats we've got over here. Imagine we sent a little over 26,000 print e-cents and 15,000 e-cents. Legacy, we sent a little over 8,000 print cents and then close to 6,000 for e-cents. And again, I just want to highlight the open rates that we've got for both of those e-cents compared to the nonprofit industry average of 25 to 30%. We're very pleased with these open rates of an average of 54% and 51% respectively. Again, it just shows a lot of engagement and that we have a very loyal group of donors that are looking for communications from the Library Foundation. Can we go next slide, please? And last up for me, just kind of some opportunities. I think we might have skipped ahead. There we go.
Oh.
I don't know what happened. We're good now.
We're good. Yeah.
Shout out to Mary Barr and her team. We've had a lot of good conversations that have come out just in figuring out how to increase visibility for the Library Foundation in general, but also for our donors. One of the things we've been in conversation with is increasing our corporate sponsor benefits through different library channels. So we have had several planning meetings to talk about that, but we are pretty close to being able to start offering those through some different newsletter and different communications channels that we've got. Shout out as well the Library Funding at a Glance page. If you haven't checked it out recently, it is a great tool to kind of look at the library's financials. It includes the Library Foundation as well. We actually received input from our donor survey that we completed back in September that people are very interested in kind of the financial difference between the library and what the Library Foundation supports. So this is very much in line with what our donors want to see. It's a great conversation tool that we can use to educate them. We also added the donate button to the ndpl.org website. So if you haven't checked it out recently, there is a donate button in the top right corner. That was a project that we were very excited to see come to fruition. So again, huge thanks to Mary and her team working on that and just providing more visibility for the Library Foundation as well. Other conversations that we're working on, so more to come in 2026, but we're very excited about the direction that we're going and just appreciate our partnership with Marketing Comms and being able to work through some of those ideas.
So just as we wrap up here, I mean, it's hard to really think about what we were able to accomplish and be anything but grateful for the donors, for the partnership with the library, the partnership with all of you, and then my God, my staff and the board that we have at the foundation, they're amazing. So I just want to go on the record and just say how proud and grateful I am to work with all of you. And do want to spend a little time talking about specifically our relationship with the library board and how we hope to nurture that this year. And again, some of these things are really intended for people from home or if we have new board members. So first of all, we're just really grateful to have Lisa Riolo serving on the Library Foundation's board. She's so engaged. She serves on our governance committee. She always she's just there at everything. If we one day we had a tour of, you know, any type of extra activity to get involved, she's there. She's so committed and so all in, and it's amazing. So thank you. We do the monthly reports at your meetings, and then per your suggestion, we're going to start out with quarterly or so more longer form updates about the foundation. And we also, so we had that training session in September. I'd love to repeat that again, as that was really good. And then also many of you contributed or are about to contribute to fundraising campaigns to benefit branch libraries that have fewer receipts than the rest of the other ones. So I'm just proud to tell you that this year we were able to bump up, because of your generosity and some other folks who are giving, we were able to bump up our minimum to $300 to $700. And so we are really appreciative about that. And so we're going to be notifying the branches soon that are going to be getting makeup contributions from us. And again, we are welcoming gifts for that all year round. We get those over to the library quarterly, but you guys really made a difference and helped us to bump that up. And then as far as, oops, I missed my slide. I'm sorry. That was what I just said. And then this is what we have coming up. So again, we want to continue with our reporting cadence that we've talked about. We are happy to host you all for another training session on the foundation, if that's something you all want. And I'm just kind of looking around and I'm seeing some nods. So we'll look at that. I think that August-September timeline will work well. We'd love to have you see you all circulate. And again, we have some information on how to buy tickets. And if you know of somebody that might be interested in a sponsorship, we can also do those. I think our deadline for those is March 13th. So that's coming up, but we're definitely excited to get people involved with Circulate. And so next time when we get together, I see this is all, I'm going backwards. I'm sorry, I should not be driving. So we want to talk about, we'll go in more depth about our support of the library. We can also talk a bit more about branch designated gifts. And we just wanted to invite you, is there anything else that you would like us to share when we come to you next time with a bigger report?
Anything more? I mean, this was very comprehensive. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. All
Is
right.
That's it?
That's it. Unless you have anything else. Oh,
Questions?
yeah.
Any
Yeah.
general questions?
General questions. Okay. All right.
All right,
You're
thank you.
welcome. We're excited to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, well, that was great. Let's move on to the report of the CEO, Mr. Gregory Hill.
Yes, sir. All right, we're good. All right, thank you, President Biederman. Thank you, Board of Trustees, thank you to our guests. Today, this evening's board report will cover the month of January and the previous 30 days. The report will cover a typical day, January programs, staff recognition, and I wanted to highlight the Leadership Enrichment and Development Program, the Heart of Every Neighborhood, upcoming events, and I'll go through this and just make sure I give Ms. Marianne McKenzie time to do her strategic plan and statistical report update, which we still have both of those.
And Mr. Hill, did you want us to?
The confirmatory resolution, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I do that sometimes, I apologize.
That's all right.
So before you is confirmatory resolution 9-2026, which is in its typical format regarding to personnel, finance, and travel for the month of January. It's in its typical format, and I would ask for your approval.
All right, is there a motion to approve resolution 9-2026 regarding finances, personnel, and travel?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a call to the roll.
Dr. Matata.
Approved.
Dr. Palacio.
Approved.
Ms. Woodard
Approved.
and Mr. Biederman.
Approved.
And let's see, did we get everybody?
Approved.
Dr. Viola?
Dr.
Approved.
Viola.
I approve.
All right, there we go. We did it.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, continuing on. Before I continue on with the agenda, first off, I'd like to thank the staff of NDPL. Again, thank you, Ms. Megan Shepherd, and thank you, Ms. Wendy Johnson, for your presentations. Just goes to show the work that goes on throughout the library each and every day. So again, a hearty thank you to the staff. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate all the work that you do. I also want to say a thank you to the executive leadership team. You guys continue to do amazing work. Thank you for one voice, and thank you for one storyteller. We're all capable of telling the library story. So thank you for your dedication and your hard work, which makes the library run. Physical circulation, and just, again, it's just physical circulation. This does not include e-resources. And this is your typical day in the month of January. We had 13,862 items that were circulated. This is just over 2 checkouts per person. Our visitors, we had 6,585 visitors. Share visitors who attended program was 1 in 14. So 1 in 14 visitors attended the program. And then just going back to the circulation, the highest circulating branches for the month of January was Glendale, Nora, and Lawrence, in that order. And again, shout out to Nora. They were closed for a long time, and they then worked their way up to the second highest circulating branch for the month of January. And again, share of visitors who attended the program was about 7.2%, or 1 in 14 visitors. The most visited branches were Glendale, Fort Bend, and College Avenue. And then we had 26 programs on any given day. PC usage was 1,087. On a typical day, about 1 in 6 visitors use a public PC, or 16.5% of visitors use a public PC. Here's just a snapshot of some of our January programs. Hallville, preschool visits. Shout out to children's librarian Alice Sam. She made a couple visits, 7 visits actually, to Christa Moore House and Hawthorne Center, where she did story time. She had 107 guests. We'll jump down to East 38th Street. The tax appointments, they had over 400 appointments for the month of January. And then chair aerobics, which is our traditional physical strength exercises at various locations. I think there were 30 programs total. We had 631 patrons who took advantage of that. And then also the Better Together event that we had at Central. I did get a chance to attend that event. I did talk to John Helling. I thought it was a really great civic event. See if that's something that we could do next year as well. And then we had bilingual story times as well at various branches. Want to give a shout out real quickly to our Star Award winners. Our patron services was Haley Vickers. Peer support is Lizzie Hackle. Page excellence is Kara Harkness. Community involvement, D'Amica Newell. Other duties assigned, Casper Elliott, and volunteer partnership was Alpha Kappa Alpha. So, round of applause. The next thing I want to talk about here is our Leadership Enrichment and Development Work Group Program. We just kicked that off on February the 12th. Thank you to the executive leadership team for your work with that, and a special thank you to Ms. Marianne McKenzie and Ms. Tisha Galarse for your help with getting this kicked off. So real quickly, the leadership or LEAD program, as it's referred to, is for building capacity, confidence, and collaboration. The LEAD work group is a cross-departmental team composed of managers from departments represented on the executive leadership team. So all departments are represented as part of this work group. And the purpose of the work group is it simulates ELT collaboration to support leadership development, foster readiness for senior rates, and strengthen retention. And then our development platform is managers gain experience in strategic decision-making and cross-functional collaboration. So basically, this work group simulates the ELT. They do have projects that they will be assigned, and they also have experiences as well that they are responsible for attaining those. And I believe there's a list of experiences, and they have to get at least, it's based off of a point system, and they have to at least get 5 points between now and the 12 months that this program runs. So really excited about this program. Again, gives them a chance to do the work that we do as ELT, see how it is to be able to work as part of a bigger group, and to reach out to staff, and then to make some connections in that. So again, that kicked off February the 12th. The next item was the Heart of Every Neighborhood. That was February 9th at the Glendale branch. Very good turnout. Again, it exceeded my expectations. One of the key messages, as you see up on the screen, it was free access for everyone, literacy, exceptional experiences, and the importance of signing up for renewing your library card. I think we had anywhere from 45 to 50 people who came through. We had a contribution wall where staff or patrons could write down what the library meant to them. We got quite a few of those. We had a branch history table where people could take a look at the history of the Glendale branch. And then most of all, we were able to get 10 positive testimonials from staff that was video recorded. And one of the testimonials we got was from State Senator Fadi Quador. He gave a really good testimony about the impact of the library. So we appreciated that. The next scheduled event is April the 13th at East 38th Street branch, and that will be from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And I think, Angie, for the board members, we'll make sure that that is on your calendar so you could attend that as well. Some upcoming events. We have Intro to Foundation Directory, Finding Grant Funders. That's on Wednesday, February 25th. There's also Fearless, Asking How to Build an Individual Giving Program, Saturday, February 28th. And then the Lunar New Year, which is the Year of the Horse, Saturday, March the 7th, from 12 to 4 p.m. And that will conclude this portion of my presentation. And if you don't have any further questions, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Marianne McKenzie so she could do the strategic plan update and the quarterly statistical report.
All right, any questions from the board? All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. You have 2 presentations from me tonight, so I'm very excited. They are a bit data heavy. I've tried to be mindful of throwing in a little bit of narrative flair to keep you on your toes. But it is going to be 2 episodes of fast talking and lots of numbers. Of course, as normal, I'm going to give you an abbreviated version of what's in your print packet, but I'm happy to answer questions on anything I present live or anything in your printed packet tonight. To kick us off, we're going to do a quarterly report on operations. I abbreviated this one more than usual. This was the carryover from last month. This, of course, is in your bylaws, though, so it is very important, but I believe you've had plenty of time to reflect on its contents, so I look forward to your questions. First of all, we're going to take a look at card holders. This is, of course, a key metric. You're going to see this when we talk about the strategic plan metrics as well. A couple of things that I really want to draw your attention to are that our active card holders, which is the patrons who have a library card that is not expired and have engaged in borrowing or engaging with digital content behavior in the past 12 months. So these are the people who are most actively engaged in the library from a collection, borrowing, and materials perspective. That's not to say that there aren't card holders who maybe don't borrow or log into our stuff online. They might visit the branch or use other services. But we use active card holders as a very crucial and key metric to how we serve the community. And we did a fantastic job over the past year of increasing that percentage. We did that through both engaging new cardholders. We saw slightly more new cardholders enrolled than the prior year, but also just through doing the hard work of continuing to have conversations with people in the community and in our branches to make sure that they were aware of all the variety of services and materials that they could use their library card to access. Now, that is a very large percentage, and I just want you to mark that 17.4% increase. In my next presentation, that's going to become relevant. Another way we look at our success in the community, of course, is just circulation. Now, when it comes to circulation, there are two pieces. There's electronic circulation, so ebooks and e-audiobooks, and physical circulations, the more traditional mediums that you think of, a physical book, a DVD. Our physical circulation has also expanded in the past year. We've been piloting Library of Things, so we had some small amount of circulation in Q4 for that. But on the whole, the thing that I want you to mark here is that circulation in total, all those categories, it's only grown by 1.5% over 2024. So it's growing, but it's growing at a small rate. In your packet, you have a breakdown that gives you more details on the physical versus e-circ. And as we've been talking about in prior presentations, electronic circulation continues to grow and grow and grow. Physical circulation's just sliding a little bit. Now, we know that in 2025, we faced some unexpected or unusual circumstances around physical circulation. At the beginning of the year, we had 2 key branches closed, and then we also had a vendor disruption that impacted how quickly and how often we could get new materials to branches, and new materials are a strong driver of physical borrowing. So we're not panicking, we're not stressed about these things, but we are monitoring that. Because if this trend continues, we do know that electronic circulation presents some unique barriers for us in terms of affordability and getting access and having things available in the timeline that patrons expect getting it to them in a timely fashion. So we're going to continue to monitor that, but we are always happy to support how people borrow in whatever format. We are not worried about more people borrowing electronically. We're happy to see people checking out in any way they can. But for all of you in your context, we just want to be mindful that there are some economic and financial impacts of those trends. Now, when it comes to the other way people can use their library card to become an active borrower, we have database, online learning platforms, and other digital platforms. This is an area that we're seeing really strong growth. So we ended the year with a 10% increase over 2024, and we ended 2024 with an increase over the prior year. This is just a space that we are continuing to see growth. This is one that we're really excited about. Usually the way most of these models work is that we pay for a subscription and we're not paying for additional access. It's not like a pay by login. So these can be great ways to really encourage people to engage with our materials that doesn't have quite the same financial cost that like borrowing an ebook potentially could. One thing that I want to note here, we added a new platform that's aligned with the strategic plan here, and that was called BrainFuse. It had 2 pieces, Help Now, a homework help option that was live. It's live homework help available in both English and Spanish during peak hours. And then a section called Job Now, which can provide career readiness and career job search support. Those were very new at the end of 2025, but it's something that we're going to be monitoring closely over the next year because that is a new-ish idea for us. It's something we've tried in the past, and we're revisiting that to see if it could meet some requests from community members for those sorts of resources. Over the course of the year, you also will have noticed that we had some access wobbles regarding Inspire. It's a program through the state library that provides databases to all libraries. I'm happy to share that we are seeing some positive progress to access through that program for our patrons. The impact on us is that those databases, when a patron uses them, the usage count goes towards our library. So they become an active cardholder with us. We get one count towards our total usage. So we were concerned that by narrowing the variety of things that were available to our patrons, we might see impact in this category. We did not see that. But we are always happy to see the return of those resources, and we're starting to get some of those back at the beginning of January of this year. So on the whole, happy to see growth. We've had some concerns and some new things to try, but we ended in a very positive place by the end of the year. When it comes to visits to the library, so we often call this people count. That's the service that we use to monitor this. We saw some positive growth in total. If you want to see the breakdown for the entire system, it's in your packet. We saw 3% growth. Our goal was to grow people visit count by 10% by 2027. So we're about a third of the way there. So we're ending right where we want to be. So we're very excited about that. Where people visited did change a little bit over the course of the year. We had 2 branches that were closed for the first quarter. So we had some shifts in where people visited. And so I included this slide here so that you could see how that shift ended this year, because when we talked about this back in the beginning of the year, last year, we had 2 branches closed, so there was some unusual behavior at that point. The other thing that I wanted to acknowledge is throughout the year, I would pull numbers on branches, and one of those branches is outreach, right? Our bookmobile. And there was a syncing issue that we have now resolved where every couple of months, they just wouldn't get counted for a month. I didn't notice it in the quarterly summaries, but I was reporting to you that they were seeing a little slight decrease throughout the year, and that was wrong. They have shown a growth of 15% over the course of 2025. So first of all, I want to apologize to all of you for the error. It's been fixed, but I just want to acknowledge the hard work that team does in investing in that growth. Taking a bookmobile to a new location and setting up shop and letting people borrow takes a lot of work and effort. So we are very excited to see their growth. And we're excited to see the impact that the 2 new bookmobiles that we're receiving next year will have on their statistics next year. So we hope to see more growth then. Now, you heard from our West Indianapolis branch manager about how public PC utilization is very popular at West Indianapolis. We have a handful of branches where those public PCs are truly a lifeline for their community. But in general, what we're seeing is that public PC utilization by branch is steady but not increasing. Back in 2024, we had an upgrade to a new system, so we were comparing 2 slightly different metrics. Now we've had about an entire year of monitoring this, and we can say that we're seeing consistent usage but not growth. Now, when it comes to Wi-Fi usage, which is like if you bring your smartphone or your laptop into the library, the sort of related experience, that is growing, but that is also a metric that is in flux because of upgrades. We had an outage this year. So we're seeing large growth there, and we do think that we're seeing an increase of usage of Wi-Fi, but it's really hard to definitively say how much given some of the chaos in the data this year. But one of the reasons that we're looking really closely at public PC utilization and Wi-Fi, first of all, we have to report them to the state library, but also because we know that some of the programs that were receiving federal funding or local funding that focused on digital literacy or access or subsidizing home internet access, they lost support over the past 18 months. And we have been closely monitoring to see if we were seeing a shift in behavior because of that. In a positive note, it doesn't seem that we're seeing a huge shift of that, but what that does mean is that the people who are using us before are just as dependent on us, so we don't want to change our behavior or our support in that area. Lastly, on a very positive note, and this isn't in the next report that I give you, I wanted to talk a little bit about study room usage. This is something that is a decision that was driven by our leadership and by all of you. We have added more study rooms as we've remodeled and built branches. And as we've added them, the community has responded by using them. So we ended with a 19% increase over 2025. When I went to look at what was driving that, it's because we added those additional spaces. So usage is consistent, and when we add new spaces, the public is quick to embrace them. Now, you might say to yourself, well, maybe we should just convert, a bunch of things into study rooms. I will always want to, note that we want to support all of our services in an equitable and equal way. And one of the things that's interesting about study room usage is we have an online booking system. You can book up to 2 weeks in advance, but our patrons really like the experience of calling a staff person or showing up and having it book them for them. So I did take a little peek at how people get access to our study rooms, and we're seeing that 80% of them, and if you see, we had over 56,000 study room bookings. Those are being handled by staff members. So it's a great opportunity for us to engage with the community, talk about all the other resources they can have at the library. So we love people who choose to book online. It saves us a little bit of work, but we also love the customer service engagement we get from offering that service. So those are my quick facts from that particular presentation. Of course, there's more in your packet. Are there any questions that I can answer for any of you on this content?
Not a question, but
Please.
not a question. I was at the 38th Street branch, and there's, what are those, the study rooms called?
Study pods.
Study
Yeah.
pods. High usage. People like using even the study pods, not just the traditional room.
Yep. And I
there as
think
well.
in your full presentation, I put how much of the new growth was coming from them, and they were really, really well loved by their community.
Yeah, people liked them a lot. I just wanted to commend the facilities for making sure that those pods are used, that they were put in, because there wasn't a lot of space to add to the branch. So it's good use.
They came in handy.
Yeah.
I know that some of the driving for the calling to make a reservation for those study rooms is because it's the same organization has somebody who's in charge of doing it, and it's on their calendar to do it every year. So I think it's kind of a lot of that is just their routines. But I was wondering if you can get some of that interaction on the online as almost a pop-up, or bullets of these are some events or something we've added to the collection, or some way to kind of drive some information when they're booking online without being a pain in the neck.
Yeah, we can take a look at that. The system that manages that is called Communico. It does have some customization. For example, this year we added an option to have people verify that they're willing to show their ID to access a study room. But yeah, we can take a look at that and see if there's a way to engage that more.
Any other questions on this one? No? All right. Ready for the next one.
All right, the next one is more exciting and thus slightly longer. So first of all, we're going to talk about the strategic plan. And I heard a question earlier about garden programs. And it just made me recall that we have a strategic plan objective that's specifically about garden programs. And we have a goal of offering 2 garden programs per branch per year, which we are currently building up and meeting. And those focus on the science of gardening and related environmental topics. So it's tied directly to our seed library. So very pleased to be able to say that we are planning for that. Now, on to not just numbers, but also symbols. So, of course, in this presentation, we're going to be looking at first our strategic priorities. Those are the key pillars of our strategic plan. They're learning, belonging, well-being, and workplace of choice. I keep saying those out of order. It's belonging, learning, well-being, but I got the right words. When you look at the analysis of these, what we're going to be seeing is if we see a big upward facing arrow, that's because we've seen an increase of over 5% relative change. If you see a flat line, we're somewhere in the above or below 5%, so that's a 10% area. It just means we're steady. And then a negative or not desired change is going to have an orange downward facing arrow. We do see a couple of those. I have to remind you, those are not, they're not red blaring sirens. They are just, let's take a look and discuss what's causing this and make sure that we have a plan to change the direction. This time around, I included the write-up for each key priority, and I wanted to remind everyone that when it comes to our strategic plan, we are filtering everything through our strategic filter of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. It's specifically called out in our belonging category, but it is a filter that we use throughout implementation of the strategic plan as we plan objectives, as we write community action plans. And there are 4 key questions, but we have a longer version of this that we use in our program planning that is maintained by our Access, Belonging, and Culture officer. So when it comes to belonging, our key areas of measurement Some of these we've already talked about. People count. We're doing a great job. Things are pretty steady. Web traffic, we're seeing a surprising amount of growth. So web traffic, I want to call your attention to because we saw 16% change. That's great. There's definitely some increased visits to our website, but the caveat there is there are also some changes in requirements for web accessibility, and we think some of the attempts to upgrade and address that artificially caused hits to hit our website. We also know that our vendor for BiblioCommons, which maintains how you log in and place a hold and look at our catalog, it saw an increase in usage. The same thing happened to us about 2 years ago. They haven't really been able to explain to us why, so we're not 100% in that all that growth is new people using the website. But the ones that we can see that are measured by us, we are seeing positive growth in this area. So on the whole, excited to see this growth. Percent of active cardholders, again, seeing really positive growth. And then we are setting a baseline for our belonging programs where we ask 2 key questions. And we ended the year with those two questions having an average of 93% saying they agree or strongly agree. 93% is a very strong measurement, but we left ourselves some room for growth over the next 2 years. So we're hopeful to see those flat blue lines or an upward facing blue arrow as we move into 2026. When it comes to learning, so let's do a callback here. I mentioned that it was important to pay attention to that active cardholder growth being very, very large. In learning, one of our key performance indicators is the circulation per active cardholder. So that's a ratio, a fraction. I love to get into the math of things, but what I want you to remember is that circulation growth was small and active cardholders was large. I think I talked about this last time I presented this metric to you as well. So we understand that active cardholders is growing at a fast rate, and that's causing this particular key performance indicator to show a negative relative change. We are optimistic that growth of active cardholders is going to result in more circulation long term, and that some of the other things that were impacting circulation will have resolved, and we'll hopefully see this turn into a steady line in the coming year or two. And if not, we're going to take a real careful look at what's causing this shift, because we fundamentally believe that if you have a library card, we probably have something in our collection that is valuable for you to borrow, or that is, otherwise going to improve your life. And we want to make sure that you're aware and connected to it so that you're getting the full value out of your library card. And one of the reasons that we're not panicking about that orange downward-facing arrow is, of course, the e-resource usage. Again, growing, steady. We can tell that patrons who have a library card are visiting us, that they're using our e-resources. Circulation just seems to be this little carve-out where we're seeing some shifts, and we're having to think about what that means for us. Similar to belonging, we are laying a baseline in 2025, but we did have some measurements to compare to from 2024 for learning. And what we're finding is that we did see growth in our key questions for these programs. And we, again, left ourselves a little bit of area for growth in the coming year to continue to improve. But we're probably looking for a steady blue arrow over the next year in that category. Well-being is a short slide because we are still building to measuring one of our key metrics, which is our partner survey. I've spoken to you about this at least 2 presentations. We are working to launch the partner survey. We wanted to have a really strong foundation of all of our partners. In the process of building to that, we realized that we had some more work to do than we anticipated in measuring who we're partnering with. So we have custom built a new partnership database where staff can track when they're engaging with a partner. And we're going to use that as a foundation to be able to send out a partner survey that should be launching definitely before the end of this year, hopefully in the next 3 months. We also have well-being programs. They're laying a foundation. We had strong positive responses to those survey questions, but again, a small amount of growth available to us in the coming year. All right, I'm going to take a deep breath because every strategic plan presentation, we give you the highlights of everything, but there's one area that we're particularly focusing on. And this quarter's focus is on workplace of choice. So I want to show you these key performance indicators. You'll see that we're seeing blue arrows, either upward facing or steady. So those are in the first year what we would expect. Our staff engagement survey, we measured psychological safety towards the end of the year, and we did see positive growth. We also measure for our staff engagement survey in the first half of the year, job satisfaction. And we saw a little bit of a loss there. It's not a huge loss, but it is enough that, we paused, we looked at the written feedback we gathered from staff, and we've taken some steps to hopefully address areas of concern. And we're getting ready to measure that again next month. So we're hoping to be able to show some growth this year because of some strategies we enacted based on that staff feedback. For staff retention, you'll see that we had a little bit of a decrease this time around. This was measuring the last half of the year. And the reality of staffing is in the last half of the year, people tend to retire and move on for other reasons. Our talent and development keep a careful watch on why people are departing and doing exit interviews. And there's nothing that we've seen here that seems to indicate that this is anything more than standard turnover, retirement, and so on. Okay. The other area of focus is our values of access. I'm not going to run through all of these. I'm going to try and just give you some highlights about the key performance indicators for these. So of course, our strategic plan has pillars of priorities, and then we have these sub-pillars, which are our goals, and then we have all the actions that we take to support those goals, and those are called our objectives. So we did have a handful of objectives related to our values, but on the whole, our values are just the foundation for the entire plan and all of our work. The things that we chose to measure related to them, for access, we had total cardholders. So that's not just the active ones, that's all of them. And we did see growth in that category as we saw. We look at collection diversity. This is an area that we measured in our last strategic plan as well. I do want to mark that the way that we measure this, we're using the same tool. We have a tool that looks at our collection, our physical collection of books and reading materials, and it evaluates diversity from a variety of lenses. And the lenses that they use align very closely with our strategic plan and our statement and visualization around intersectionality. But what happened in the last strategic plan is we were really focusing on growing the collection through purchasing. And our staff kept having conversations with us saying, hey, when we think about a collection as a librarian, we think about this as a life cycle. How does the material exist and continue to exist, or to either be what we call weeded or removed from your collection, or retained because it's seeing usage, or it's retained because it's so important. And so we have done a big shift in our thinking and are really thinking about collection diversity from that whole life cycle perspective. And as you'll see, as a result of that, we ended 2025 with a collection diversity percentage of 30.5% for, again, our reading material, our physical reading materials here. Now, physical reading materials are only a small portion of our collection, and so I'm going to ask that you can trust that we are continuing to use these same methods across our entire set of collections. We don't have a handy tool to measure all of them, so this is just really an indicator of our commitment to that. Communication and exceptional experiences. We have a TELUS survey. We've talked with you all about it a few times this year. Our TELUS survey asks every time you visit, you can give us 5 stars, you can answer a couple yes or no questions. We are seeing strong positive results across that platform for both communication and exceptional experiences, which includes customer service. Because we really love that tool, we introduced some awards related to that Gregory has spoken to you about over the past few months. And we are also kind of trying to leverage that TELUS survey a little bit to do some unique measurement for our new autism certified branches. So we'll have some additional feedback from that survey coming in the coming year. Smart intellectual freedom, I'm going to skip over it because I'm going to talk with you in more detail about that here in just a moment. And then I want to talk a little bit about sustainable choices. We chose energy usage intensity, which is basically a measurement of our building's energy usage sustainability. When you pick that metric, one thing that you have to remember is every time you say open 2 new branches, you're setting a new baseline. And if you have weird weather events or other things that happen, sometimes those can have an impact. So we are seeing change that is not in the direction that we'd hope to see this year. But I really think that for us, our baseline is being set right now where all of our branches are open. Going into next year, as we make some additional remodel changes, as we optimize our branches, we hope to start movement in the opposite direction. So we're very excited to be able to find new ways of improving that metric. I'm going to transition over to objectives. Remember, those are the actions that we take. There's a bunch of them summarized in your written report. I'm just going to give you a couple highlights. First of all, we support intellectual freedom. We had set a goal of impacting 100,000 people, and we exceeded that by 3 times. So we impacted over 300,000. This is collaborative work from public service, from our executive team, going out in the community and talking about how we love the freedom to read, and then also from our communication and marketing department, doing a wonderful job pushing this message out into the digital space. So we have been able to mark that objective as completed, but of course it is still a key performance indicator, so we'll still continue to push that message out into the community. For workplace of choice, one key objective was looking to improve our benefits and support a healthier workforce. You all have had a little bit of a frontline seat to this because you help approve contracts and other things related to this. But our talent and development team, and then our finance team, and Tisha and Lolita in particular, did a wonderful job going to bat for our staff and then working to negotiate a robust benefits package. And they did a wonderful job of thinking about this from the staff feedback perspective. So that we did a survey back in 2024, and they have continued to rely on that feedback to think about what can we negotiate for our staff. Now, of course, it is a negotiation. The options on the table in front of us are somewhat controlled by the vendors we're using, but we had some great outcomes this year, and we are positive that our staff are seeing a positive outcome because we did ask them some questions about that in one of our staff engagement surveys this year. In the full report, I gave you a good summary of some of the positive changes that we've seen, but we are also planning to do another survey this year to check in and say, what can we do to continue to improve over the next 2 years? Workplace of choice, we have an objective that we completed. We've talked about this previously, but I just want to mark that it is completed, checked off the list. We are a good wage initiative employer, and our staff have responded positively to that change. At this point, it's a good time to note that when we talk about an objective being completed, that just means the specific action that we identified has been undertaken, but that doesn't mean the work stops. We will continue to try and look for areas of growth in these areas. We just monitor them a little bit less closely. There's a little bit less reporting due for them at that point. On that note, we also had our Access, Belonging, and Culture page on the staff intranet that launched this year. We'd wanted to find a way to support belonging in our staff in the same way we support belonging in our community. And because we have 25 branches staff spread out all over, we can do things like training and resource groups, but we really needed a centralized hub where everyone could come and find standardized information about training available to them, about ways to celebrate cultural identity for themselves or their peers, and the Access and Belonging page was found to be the best place for that. We had set a goal of by 2026 having a resource hub that impacted 50% of staff. We found that staff love this resource page and have really embraced and used it. And by the end of the year, we had already exceeded that. We, on average, have a little over 600 staff. And as you can see, we had 589 unique views since the launch of this page. So staff are really finding a benefit from that. And that is, of course, Kim Uwer is our Access, Belonging, and Culture officer, and then Nate Weber, who has been helping support her intranet page over the past year. Last big slide, because our talent and development workforce have such a large part to play in workforce of choice, I couldn't not mention this again. I mentioned it to you in a prior update before, but I wanted to highlight their end of year progress. They try to make sure that our staff are representative of our community, and we think about that in all the ways that you can have a diverse workforce. And that is both through supporting the advancement of our already diverse workforce internally. That is through going out into the community and saying, hey, we are a workplace of choice, you should come work for us. And that is also thinking about how to target the dollars that we have to spend on recruitment in a way that is going to have the most impact and ensuring that we have not only the best candidates, but that those candidates are coming from a diverse pipeline. And they've done a wonderful job of that. All the objectives that they laid out for themselves this year, they have exceeded. And I just want to acknowledge that they're continuing to do great work. That option number B there, they invest 30% of the annual recruitment budget. That is a carryover from the last strategic plan. We found it to be very effective. And I just want to mark that this year they did spend 55% of their budget. They far exceeded that goal. And we know that that is an effective strategy because we saw the outcomes of that under our last strategic plan. All right, that's all my fast talking. What questions can I answer for all of you?
Questions do we have? You did such an excellent job. There are 0 questions from the line. Thank you so
All
much.
right, I'll take it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, no unfinished business. Oh, sorry.
If there's no further questions, that concludes the CEO report.
Excellent. No unfinished business, no new business. Future agenda item, this time is made available for discussion of items not on the agenda, which are of interest to library board members. Opportunity is given to suggest items be included on future library board meeting agendas. Do any board members have something to suggest for the March 2026 meeting? Dr. Palacio.
Not for the next meeting. Just want to show my appreciation to all the data that was collected and presented right now, because a lot of work went into it in the planning and now in the execution of it.
Yeah, amazing, amazing work. Yep. Any items for next month? All right, none. Next meeting is going to be Monday, March 23rd at the Library Services Center, 2450 North Meridian Street, Indianapolis, Indiana 46208 at 6:30 p.m. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.